now we will talk about what the film industry actually comprises of. So essentially, it's all of these things, and I've covered most of it. The research, writing, and direction, is the is the main this thing, the main part of filmmaking per se. And it's also like there's a very big debate uh, on who gets to be called a filmmaker. Is it the director? Is it the cinematographer? Is it the editor? Who is it that gets to be called the filmmaker per se? One of the most common conventions, and that's how the awards unfortunately go, is that someone who is the director is called the filmmaker itself, and everyone else who works is called the film crew, and they are considered the film crew. But in practice, once you are involved in the filmmaking process, you'll realize that each of these roles is so important that all of them individually do contribute to making of a film, which makes all of them essentially the filmmakers of a film. The film industry is divided into these, there's like a lot more than this as well, but like essentially these are the kind of departments that exist within the film industry. These are the domains that exist, and within these domains there are positions that you can enter the film industry as. So for example, the direction, you know what a direction department is. They are the ones who will essentially guide what the film is going to look like. They're the ones who will be instructing it. So one, there is the primary director that you have, who is going to, you know, make the whole, take all the calls of what the film is going to look like. There is someone who is going to be an art director, who's going to look at the artistic and the aesthetic ideas of set design, or what is it that you're going to shoot. And then there are assistant directors, assistant art directors, and spot boys, and all of these people that come in the direction department itself. Similarly, for research and writing, there are researchers, there will be people who will be writing it, there'll be people who will be whose only job is to develop the script to look better. There'll be people who will be working to edit the script so that it's shorter. The production department essentially is everyone who is involved in like production is basically that you need to ensure that once when the film is being shot, the filmmaker, the director and the cinematographer have everything that they need in their hands. That's the job of the production department. So they'll go and take the permissions, they'll go and like take everything that the actors need. They're the ones who'll get the vans, they're the ones who'll get the transport. All of it is all production. Cinematography is again the camera people, everyone who is involved in doing in shooting it and in understanding what kind of lens to use, what kind of camera to use, and basically how it's going to look like is in the cinematography department. Of course, there are assistant cinematographers, there are people who come lower, there are also interns. Then the sound design team, which is essentially in the editing team. Sound design is of two types. There'll be one sound design that is going to take place on the set itself, uh, where they might actually try to capture on while they're shooting sounds while they're shooting. So say a wave is coming while you're standing there, just that sound of that wave is everything that has to do with the sound department, the sound design department. Lighting, again, how you want to light it up, how you're going to show, and where are the lights going to be placed so that optimal light is falling on the actors or whatever object it is that you're going to show. Then acting department, editing, I already discussed. And then there is hair, costume, and choreography, which is just creating how your actors or your subjects look on screen. And choreography is essentially not just for dance, it is also your body language. It is also how you're going to stand. Is it going to be an authoritative pose in which you're going to stand, or is it going to be like if someone has a character of some sort of a weak person, then they'll like have a different kind of a body image. Those kind of things are all defined by choreography. These are also essentially, when you're entering a film industry, you will enter at the lowest rung. Like any other industry, you'll enter as assistants, you'll enter as interns in either of these departments. But when you're entering say for like an entry level position, you'll essentially end up doing pretty much all of it, pretty much, little bit of production, little bit of cinematography, little bit of sound, little bit of research writing and direction. Yeah, who can be a filmmaker? You can, because I feel one of the things that have been changed in this day and age is the access to resources to make a film, and also that there is no traditional way of making a film, in the sense that even though there are film theories in place, even though there are people who believe in conventions, right now is the time where everyone is breaking all of these rules. Right now is the time where everyone is trying to create films that are experimental, that are not exactly what they want to probably what has been done so far. They're making films that are their own creations, that have come out of their own heads and are very, very experimental in that sense. um but again, like, who can become a filmmaker? Essentially anyone can. And even the idea of what a film is and what, like, a video essentially is, those kind of lines that pre-existed, uh like that concept doesn't exist anymore. Because right now, if say someone is making uh a travel vlog and they are talking about the history of a place, like, so they I think Sudeshna was just talking about how she has made a vlog on the historical, uh I think, what did you say, a historical place in Nepal, that's it, right?
Yeah, historical and also religious.
Exactly. So say if she's making some sort of a travel vlog or a video on something like this, and she is like trying to talk about the history and culture of that place, and if she does it in like great detail, then that itself becomes a film. Who is to say that it's different from a documentary short film or a vlog? There is no convention that's there anymore, because of digital filmmaking, and because even the better films that have been produced, at least through the lockdown, have been all made on your phone cameras that shoot 4K videos. So anyone can be a filmmaker. You can definitely be one. How can you become a filmmaker? This is one thing that a lot of people asked me yesterday as well. How is it that you can enter the industry, something like this? One is definitely through taking the formal route, where you essentially go to a media school or a film school and learn filmmaking there and understand it, and then enter the industry through like, so say if I have graduated from a film school and I want to work with a production house, I will go there and I will tell them that, you know what, I want to work as your assistant, will you take me on board? And this is the kind of work that I've already done. What happens in the formal education, this thing formal education route, is that when you're in a media school or when you're in a film school, during that duration itself, they'll ask you to make films, so that that builds your resume, so that when you're going to a filmmaker to approach them to, like, be their assistant or to shadow them or whatever it is, you already have a resume in place. You already have a reel in place, that you can show them your own work and say, this is the kind of work that I do, and I feel that I will be a good fit for your vision. And then they'll take you on board. That's the formal education route, where they prepare you for the industry. And sometimes a lot of these colleges also get like a lot of filmmakers on board, so like, you get to meet them, and the exposure is that much more easier to the film industry. The second route is the unconventional route, where you self educate yourself. You understand that, okay, you know what, this is what filmmaking is. One of the biggest ways that you can learn how to make a film, which is something that came up during like an interview, while someone was interviewing the filmmakers for Parasite. They said that we self-educated ourselves. We didn't have the resources to understand or like even go to film school or whatever it is. What we did is that we just watched films. We watched how it is done. We watched the making of those films. We watched the documentaries that were made on the making of those films, and we learned it that way. And the best way to learn something is, one, through exposing yourself, through reading about it, through definitely watching it, and through watching as many films as you can, but also to practice it. Once you have all this knowledge, put it to use. Use your own camera. It's fine if you have a normal regular lens. It's fine if you have a very basic phone camera that doesn't even shoot very well, like in terms of the picture quality or whatever it is. It's the idea and the content that matters. If you can recreate something that's great from a phone, I feel you can be a great filmmaker, because all you need to do is that you need to understand how a DSLR or a digital camera essentially works, because that's the only thing that's different between a film that's made on a phone or a film that's made on camera. So yeah, practice is definitely the best teacher when it comes to something like this.